It all begins one day when Noah's father revokes his right to the throne, and he immediately thanks him. Surprised, the king asks if he's not interested in knowing why he's getting kicked out, but Noah immediately guesses it's because he's built like a beta version. Dagwa, his brother, then confirms that he has been determined to be without skill by their father's appraisal, and reminds him that he could still be king even though his divine package is stuck in celestial shipping. Just then, the king accuses Noah of lacking the will to become the next king and states that, since kicking him out will spread bad rumors about the country, he'll grant him a territory and send him to lord over it. When Noah gets excited on hearing this, Dagwa gets pissed and asks why he doesn't care about the throne. Noah then fakes a gloomy look and says that he really wants to be the king. Infuriated by this, Dagwa draws his sword and goes for the head uninstall feature, while their father worried. However, when the sword lands, it gets sliced in half, to Dagwa's shock. Just then, Noah says he got so scared he couldn't see the sword coming and calls himself a failure. While the bystanders freak out on seeing this, Dagwa wonders if he's hallucinating. So Noah gets up to leave with his familiar, leaving Dagwa dumbfounded at the thought of him being a faker of skill. However, since he's still in denial, Dagwa calls Noah back, but Noah says he'll live in leisure at his new territory and bids his brother farewell while activating a magic circle. On seeing this, Dagwa tells him to wait, but Noah vanishes into thin air, leaving everyone confused as to what they'd just witnessed. Later, on a carriage taking Noah to his new territory, Rory, his familiar, asks if he really gave up his chance to become king. In response, Rory asks if she has forgotten his brilliant plans to become the disappointment of the family, and comments that he can finally live as he wants as an incompetent idiot. However, in reality, Noah is a sword hero who reincarnated twice as a hero. So Rory asks him how he turned out as a disappointment in his third life, and Noah explains that being a sword hero is annoying. When he laments on how stressful it is saving the world, Noah reveals that it's why he reincarnated into a peaceful world as a prince. But to his surprise, he ran into problems with succession to the throne and decides to fake his incompetence by changing the outcome of his appraisal ceremony with magic. Just then, Noah grabs the knob of the carriage door and tells Rory not to hate him. He then suddenly jumps off the carriage, which is then crushed by a huge rock. Luckily for Rory, she escapes being crushed while Noah wonders if the rock is a meteor or a boulder from a volcano. Meanwhile, Rory transforms into her human self and tells Noah that he could have let her know they were being attacked. After this, Rory tells Noah that he must have dodged the attack using high-grade magic, but Noah says that even a child could use the magic in his previous life. A few moments later, Rory points out that she could hear the sound of footsteps, and suddenly, a volcano tortoise emerges from the forest. When Rory points out that it's an S-rank monster, Noah asks why she's getting scared since the devil takes notes whenever she walks in a room. She then reminds Noah that he sealed up her strength by locking up her true form in the archives. So, Rory asks Noah what he plans to do since they're up against an S-rank monster. However, Noah was more locked in on her amazing racks than their situation, so he asked Rory to repeat herself. Suddenly, the volcano on the tortoise explodes again and launches rocks into the air. When Rory panics and points out that a boulder is headed their way, Noah draws his creation magic sword, and to Rory's surprise, he somehow turns the falling boulder into confetti. Seeing this, Rory freaks out and asks how he pulled that off, but Noah says he simply cut the rock into pebbles and reveals that mid-level adventurers could beat the tortoise. When the turtle suddenly screams, Noah summons a fireball and blasts the volcano tortoise out of existence. When Rory asks if he's using a hidden level magic, Noah says it's just a fireball. When it occurs to Noah that their carriage has been crushed, he figures it's best if they fly and suddenly takes off into the sky. So Rory freaks out, asking why he left her behind and claiming he's too skilled. Some moments before this, in a village called Ain, a girl named Lista had announced that the monsters were rampaging again, but an elder told her not to worry, since the town had the ancient hero's magic to protect it. Worried, Lista asked if they'll really be okay with such an old barrier, and someone suddenly calls her attention to the volcano tortoise heading for the village. When the dude pointed out that it's an S-rank monster, the monster collided with the magic barrier, and it cracked. Shocked to see this, Lista figured things were about to go south, since they're one hit away from being turned into monster feed. So she suddenly takes off, leaving her companions, who then ask what she's up to. In response, Lista says she plans to slow the monster down, but the volcano tortoise suddenly shows up behind her, while Lista plans to pull the tortoise's attention away from the town. When she tried this, she spotted Noah's carriage and wondered what outsiders were doing in a place like that. At that moment, the volcano on the tortoise explodes, so Lista calls out to the people in the wagon and warns them to run away. However, all that went away in a matter of seconds, thanks to Noah's nuclear-grade attack. For some reason, Lista suddenly thinks Noah did it to save her, and figures Noah is just like the ancient hero she has heard about in bedtime stories. While Lista gets starstruck at the sight of Noah, Rory gets annoyed, and at Noah for leaving her behind. She then decides to transform into another form to be able to catch up with Noah. When she shows up as Garfield with wings, Lista sees her and then freaks out, thinking she's a monster. Later, at the Lord's residence in Carter territory, Noah gets excited when he arrives at his mansion, saying it's perfect for his retirement. Suddenly, he realizes Rory is nowhere to be found. Just when he figures he must have left her behind, Rory appears in the form of a dragon and tells Noah that it's not cool to leave a maiden behind. Surprised, Noah figures it must be Rory and says that he couldn't tell it's her without her signature chest handles. Hearing this, Rory asks Noah if that's all he remembers about her and says she had to fly in her true form to catch up with him. After this, Rory says she can't forgive Noah for abandoning her and vows to end him. However, Noah gives her an unsettling stare and makes her realize who is boss. So, Rory calms down like a well-tamed pup while Noah reminds her that she has always been his apprentice. Meanwhile, Lista stands nearby, watching the drama unfold, and points out that it's amazing that a dragon could freeze just from Noah's stare. Surprised, Noah asks who she is, and Lista introduces herself. After thanking him for saving her, Lista explains that her town was being attacked by the volcano tortoise. However, Noah freaks out on hearing this, since he knows he didn't do it to save anyone but himself. Just then, Lista jumps on him while calling him the new hero who tamed a dragon and saved the citizens from the monster. After feeling her airbags press against him, Noah asks how Lista knows he's the new hero, and Rory states that since the village of Ain belongs to the Carter territory, his power was found out on his first day there. So Noah freaks out and realizes his brilliant retirement plan just vanished into thin air. Noah then blames Rory for his misfortune and points out that his identity as a genius has been found out because she brought Lista. Suddenly, Rory transforms into her human form and says the people have known that he's skilled for a while. Surprised, Noah asks what she means, and Rory explains that he has done many things to show it, like a time when some monsters flew into the capital. Noah then says he had to end them all since they didn't let him sleep. When Noah adds that he used concealment magic back then, Rory reveals that he must have been pretty hungover, since his concealment magic didn't work, and he was seen by the entire Knight's Order. After this, Rory adds that Noah pulled off quite an array of feats, which his father and idiot brother didn't realize. Hearing this, Lista says it's amazing to have Noah in the Carter territory and welcomes him as their new hero. However, when Noah says he's just an incompetent person, Lista says there's no need for him to be modest. So, Noah's brilliant retirement plan magnificently breaks apart, and he freaks out, wondering how it happened. Later, while Noah wonders how things got out of hand, since he had planned to live his best life, enjoying his retirement, Lista announces that she's done cleaning the house. Noah then thanks her, while feeling bad for showing his abilities to the first villager he met. After this, Noah points out that Lista is from the village and asks why she's still at the mansion. In response, Lista says she plans to repay him for saving her life and asks for more work to do. When she adds that he can hold off on burning calories at night till they take the next step, Noah misses the cue and says that she doesn't have to work so hard. Lista then assumes he meant he'll make everyone happy so that they won't have to work, but Noah points out that she might need hearing aids. When Rory tells Noah that his abilities were found out by a dramatic character, Noah calms himself down and figures no one would believe Lista, no matter what she says about him. Since the staff from the previous lord were still in the mansion, Noah decided to prove his incompetence to them instead. Shortly after, someone knocks on the door, and Noah asks them to come in, so Sebastian, the butler, walks in and introduces himself. When he reveals his intentions to give his greeting to the new lord, Noah figures it's the perfect time to show off his incompetence, so he addresses Sebastian as Gramps and asks if he has any business with him. In response, Sebastian says the rumors about him being a rude brat were true. On hearing his negative reviews, Noah figures it's great and decides to keep it up. He then asks Sebastian why he's putting up an attitude. In response, Sebastian calls him every bad name in the book, and while Noah gets excited, he also gets freaked out by how much Sebastian hates him. However, since his plan is playing out, Noah decides to continue. Just then, Lista cautions Sebastian on his rudeness and states that Noah is an amazing person who saved her village from a volcano tortoise. However, Sebastian refuses to believe her claims and says it's a feat impossible for a brat like Noah. In addition to this, Sebastian announces that he'll only recognize the previous lord of the territory. So Lista asks Noah if he'll be okay with putting someone like Sebastian close to himself. In response, Noah says it's fine and tells Lista to return to the village. Facing Sebastian, Noah says that his reaction is only natural, since no sensible person would trust an idiot like him with a dusty territory. When Sebastian agrees with him on this, Noah suddenly hugs him and thanks him, shocking Sebastian. Noah then says he doesn't mind how many times he gets hit till he learns how to rule for the prosperity of the territory. Meanwhile, Noah figures he can feign his incompetence by using the butler to tell the other staff. Shocked by Noah's openness despite the hostility thrown his way, Sebastian wonders if he's a vessel of the king. However, when he figures that Noah must be the incompetent prince, he states that he has no intention of getting along with an idiot like him. When Sebastian takes his leave, Noah celebrates his small win. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the mansion, some hooded characters meet underground to discuss the new lord and his incompetence, just like the previous lord. So they decide to go along with their plans to make the human realm theirs. The next day, while the staff of the previous lord were gathered, Sebastian addresses them and introduces Noah as the new lord of the territory. Meanwhile, Noah sits on his throne, dressed like an exotic dancer, and identifies himself as the incompetent prince. When he adds that he looks forward to messing with them, Lista asks Noah what kind of act he's putting up since he doesn't look incompetent to her. However, the staff marvel on realizing that the rumors were true while Sebastian bows, disappointed by Noah's intro. So Noah feels good about the impression he's making, and Sebastian tells him to wear some clothes. While Noah puts on some clothes, Lista asks Noah what he plans to do next, and he reveals that he needs more ways to look incompetent. Shortly after, he addresses his staff and announces that there will be a restructuring. Surprised to hear this, Sebastian asks what his plan is, and Noah reveals that he intends to fire talented subordinates. Just then, Rory points out that he's thinking of something idiotic again and asks how he intends to know which of the staff is talented. So Noah says that it's the people in front and points to a lady and two guys. When he says they're fired, Sebastian freaks out and tells him to quit playing around, since they're the most talented employees. Noah then responds by saying he felt it from inside his soul that they're trying to get in his way. Meanwhile, Noah was just trying to be incompetent by firing them without reason. Suddenly, the fired staff get agitated and transform into their demonic forms while asking Noah how he knew. When Sebastian exclaims on seeing this, one of the fired guys reveals that they're demons. So Sebastian asks why they pretended to be employees, but he gets ignored, and the demon asks Noah how he figured them out. In response, Noah says that he simply looked at the amount of magic they have. Surprised, the demon asks if he did that by just taking a single look at them, but Noah asks if it's a bad thing for demons to be employees. Sebastian then reveals that it's common knowledge that demons are humanity's enemy. Noah then asks Rory if it's true, and she explains that things are now different from his previous life. So Noah asks how he doesn't know all of that, and Rory reminds him that he skipped all his classes back at the castle. Afterwards, Noah blames himself for stirring up trouble by firing the servants, while Lista points out that Noah will be known as the Lord who can spot a demon on first glance. At the same time, the demons wonder how a brat like Noah figured out their plans to take over the human realm. So they get furious and decide to exterminate everyone in the mansion. Just when the demons take their full forms, Noah says they don't have to get mad and adds that he'll take back his announcement about the restructuring. Suddenly, the demons see Noah differently and wonder if he's the same dude messing with them all along. While they feel their body get heavy, Noah suggests that they all get along from that moment on, but the demons break out of the building. When Noah asks why they're running, Rory says they probably got scared, while the other staff marvel at the way they ran off in a flash because of Noah. Suddenly, the maids get glassy-eyed and flock around Noah, claiming they'll stick with him since the territory can become great in his time. Hearing this, Rory congratulates him on gaining more believers. Shortly after this, Sebastian bends a knee, disappointed in himself and his previous master for failing to realize their employees were demons. While the staff throw Noah in the air, he spots Sebastian on his knee and expresses his surprise. However, when Sebastian tells Noah not to think they've acknowledged him yet, Noah tries to hug him and tells him to work hard, but Sebastian tells him not to come any closer. Later, while Noah reads a book, he spots Lista packing in some bags and wonders why she's packing in without being invited. She then explains that she went to get her luggage from Ain village and reveals that the people there are worried about the barrier around it. Just then, Noah asks if there was really a barrier in the first place. Just then, Sebastian jumps in on the conversation and points out that Noah is truly incompetent, since he just proved he's clueless about things happening in his territory. Excited, Noah hugs Sebastian and thanks him for reminding him of his incompetence, but Sebastian wonders why he's being so friendly with him. Afterwards, Sebastian explains that the Carter territory is located in a dangerous forest and is protected by the barrier around the village. He then adds that the barrier created by the ancient hero has started degrading, and they won't be able to use the village anymore if it continues. On hearing this, Noah chips in that the barrier will eventually break apart without a source of magic, surprising Sebastian and Lista, who then praise him for figuring out what's wrong with the ancient hero's barrier when even royal court magicians couldn't. Surprised, Noah points out that it isn't rocket science, while Rory reminds him that his past life is a premium version of his present. Later in Ain village, the villagers gather and wonder if Noah is truly the new lord, so Noah introduces himself as the incompetent prince and spots the barrier. The villagers then inform him that they know there are cracks in the barrier as a result of the volcano tortoise's attack. When they add that the villagers have been taking turns to keep watch, Noah tells them to leave it to him and promises on his blood to fix the barrier. Just then, Rory asks what he's doing and reminds him that the plan was to pretend to be incompetent. In response, Noah says it's part of the plan and reveals that raising the expectations of the people will only increase the impact of his failure. So Rory asks how he intends to mess it up this time, and Noah tells her to watch and learn. Suddenly, Noah announces that he'll bring out just a little of his full power, and when he activates his magic, Rory almost gets blown away and points out that his little magic is as good as anyone else's best. Suddenly, Noah stretches his hands towards the barrier and shatters what was left of it. Seeing this, the villagers freak out while Noah scratches his head and says he thought he could fix the barrier. Suddenly, the villagers begin to worry about how they'll live without a barrier and question Noah's competence. Just when Noah thinks he's managed to fool everyone again, Lista tells the people that they're misunderstanding what was going on, since the shattering of the barrier was intentional. When they freak out on hearing this, Lista further explains that Noah had said earlier that they can't rely on the barrier of the past hero. When she adds that Noah also said he'll eliminate all monsters, Noah freaks out and tries to explain that she must be high on something, but Lista's words sound more appealing to the villagers. So they figured Noah must have broken the barrier because he truly intends to defeat all monsters for them. They then commented on him being a reliable lord and chanted his name in unison. Surprised, Noah wonders if they've all gone nuts, while Rory informs him he's completely become a legend since he gets worshipped for whatever he does. But Noah refuses to believe this. Suddenly, some monsters charge towards the village, and the villagers freak out, wondering how the monsters quickly realize the barrier is down. In that moment, all attention and expectations turn to Noah, so he charged towards the monsters. When Rory asks what he plans to do, Noah explains that he'll run into some monsters and pretend to be defeated. However, As he approaches the monsters with a look scary enough to make the devil flinch, the monsters freak out and rush back into the jungle. Surprised, Noah wonders why nothing ever seems to work according to plan, while the villagers praise their new hero for dispelling the monsters simply by running towards them. Afterwards, Rory asks Noah if he used more power than usual when he broke the barrier, and Noah reveals that he only used a little bit. So Rory explains that the monsters probably sensed that Noah had a lot of magic power and considered him extremely dangerous, so they fled. Suddenly, Lister announces that the monsters Noah scared away will never return to the village, and adds that Noah takes on the task of repelling the monsters himself, rather than putting up a barrier. She then idolizes Noah before the people and announces that their new lord is him. Hearing this, the blood drains from Noah's face, and the people suddenly begin to praise and promise to follow him till they die. So Noah feels disappointed in himself, while Rory points out that there's no decent person around him. Meanwhile, in Noah's father's kingdom, the king freaks out when another member of his cabinet resigns. He then points out that the knight commander, as well as a few other important people, have resigned too, while claiming there's no point being in the kingdom without Noah. Just then, the resigning official suggests that the king bring Noah back, but annoys him in the process. So, the king drops a glass cup in annoyance and asks if the official is saying his decision to chase Noah out was wrong. The king then explains that he threw Noah away because he was incompetent. Just then, a lady walks in and calls the king's attention, and the king asks who she is, so she introduces herself as Sarah, the lady of a great noble family. The king then apologizes for showing an unsightly part of himself and asks Sarah if she needs anything since the meeting for the marriage is still far off. However, Sarah says she would like to break off her engagement with Dagwa, surprising the king. When he asks her why, Sarah says it's because she's engaged to Noah. Hearing this, the king explains that she was arranged to get engaged to Dagwa since Noah has been banished, but Sarah says she doesn't want to. When the king freaks out on hearing this, Sarah heads out while explaining that she accepted the engagement to be with Noah, and since he was banished, she has no reason to keep up with the engagement. Suddenly, Sarah hears someone call her name, and when she looks, she spots Dagwa standing in the hallway. He then tells her to wait and asks if the breakup thing was a prank. In response, Sarah says she's solely devoted to Noah and adds that she has no plans to give herself to his beta male brother. Dagwa then begs her to rethink her decision, since Sarah is first rate out of all the noble houses, and Dagwa has never been lucky with ladies. When he gets closer to try to make Sarah change her mind, she slaps his hand off and reveals that she has no plans to have her body tainted by an incompetent fool like him. When she says she'd rather die and leaves, Dagwa wonders why everyone wouldn't stop clamoring for Noah. Afterwards, Noah wonders why everything he does has a hidden meaning, so Rory advises him to give it up, since his efforts to fake incompetence end up setting him up for praise. After she reminds him of how well his plans have worked so far, Noah screams, asking why, and Rory responds, saying it's because he's an idiot. She then adds that simply saying he's incompetent would have sufficed, but Noah disagrees and says it's a third-rate kind of incompetence. To explain his point, Noah says that he wants to be someone who says they can do something, but ends up failing at it miserably. Rory then reminds him how well that's working for him and catches a falling piece of paper. When she asks what the paper is for, Noah reveals that Sebastian must have left it behind. So Rory reads it and realizes it's a plan for the village reconstruction. After this, she announces that the people lack the power to repair the damage done by the monster when the barrier broke, and insinuates that Noah could fix it all in an instant. However, Noah calls her an idiot and states that doing that will only increase his workload. Suddenly, Noah gets an idea and decides he could use the reconstruction plans to his advantage. So he says that he's going out, and Rory asks if he intends to carry out the reconstruction, but Noah says it's a secret. Shortly after, while they ride in a carriage, Rory reminds Noah that the town repairs require a bit of manpower and adds that hiring people from the Commerce Guild seems appropriate. After this, Rory states that the territory doesn't have much money and asks Noah if he'll return to the capital to ask for help. But Noah says doing that will put his reputation at risk, so Rory asks him who he intends to bring in to help with the repairs. In response, Noah says it's about time, and the carriage suddenly stops while some bandits lurk in a nearby bush. Surprised, Rory wonders why the carriage stopped and announces she's going to check what's going on. The moment she steps out, she gets threatened with a knife to her neck and an instruction to stay put. After they get tied up, Noah and Rory realize they've been accosted by bandits. Just then, the bandits point out that they're well-dressed and look forward to the loot they'll get from their cargo. Meanwhile, Rory asks Noah what he plans to do with them, and he comments that it's easy since they showed up just at the right time. Hearing this, Rory figures their workforce must have just shown up, and Noah confirms this by saying that using the thugs for labor since it seems like the incompetent thing to do. Feeling lost, the bandits wonder what they're talking about, and one of them draws their leader's attention to Rory's mega-glazed buns. Just then, the bandits berate Noah for being able to afford such a cute girl. While Rory marvels at this, the bandits announce that they've taken all the valuables from the carriage and announce their intention to take Rory along with them. When she gets picked up by the bandits, Rory threatens to transform into her original form and hand the bandits free tickets to the afterlife. But the bandits, in turn, tell her to stay still so they'll spare her life. Just then, Noah flicks the forehead of the bandits' leader, and he immediately gets thrown into the sky, surprising the bandits. After this, the leader falls back and crashes into the ground while Noah picks up Rory. He then asks them what they were planning to do with Rory after taking her away. When he accuses them of trying to take dips in her honey pot, Rory wonders why she's surrounded by idiots. Afterwards, Noah announces that he's had enough of the drama and tells them to sit quietly if they want to live. But the bandits get ready for a fight, saying they can't go back, having come so far. Immediately, Noah attacks them with ropes and ties them up in seconds. Shocked by this, the other bandits freak out, wondering if Noah is human. Some moments later at the mansion, Sebastian asks Noah why he showed up with the bandits bundled up, and Noah announces that since they'll need manpower for the village reconstruction, he has brought them some. He then adds that they're workers who will do anything if there's money involved. When Noah announces his intention to leave the reconstruction to the bandits, they freak out. Worried, Sebastian says it's unsafe to leave the village reconstruction to the bandits since there's no telling what they could do, but Noah says he believes in them. When he asks Sebastian if he's doubting the workers he chose, Sebastian didn't look impressed. So Noah gets excited at the thought of the bandits helping him to lower his reputation. Hearing this, the bandits get tearfully remorseful like first-time convicts, and to Noah's surprise, they suddenly acknowledge Noah as master for giving worthless pieces of trash like them a chance. Seeing this, Noah trepidates and Rory exclaims while the bandits confess that they didn't have money to live, so they were forced into banditry to survive. Afterwards, the bandits reveal that one of them used to be the master of the Commerce Guild, and he decides to take up the work. Noah then freaks out on realizing the bandits were actually ex-big shots, while Sebastian reveals that he heard stories about some high-ranking workers who got arrested by corrupt nobles and asks Noah if he knew who they were beforehand. However, Noah denies knowing them while the ex-bandits get enthusiastic about their first real work in a while. While the workers' morale went through the roof, Noah realized his life was a comedy of errors. At the same time, Sebastian wonders how Noah managed to capture bandits and skilled labor at once. However, he refuses to believe Noah could solve all the problems of the territory, since there's a mountain load of them. Suddenly, a few carriages barge into the mansion and halt, surprising Noah and Rory. Just then, Sarah gets off one of the carriages and announces that she has come to assist Noah. Surprised, Noah asks why they all showed up and trails off when he spots the other ladies hop off the carriage. After this, Rory asks Noah who the ladies are, and he explains that they're acquaintances from the royal castle. Just then, Theta, the former royal knight commander, announces that she's honored to meet Noah again. When she adds that she heard he was made lord of the territory to help the suffering villagers and says she's moved by his noble spirit to give her strength to him, Noah asks if they've ever talked about it. Meanwhile, Reza, the former court magic instructor, comments that it's been a while and introduces herself as the inhabitant of the shadows. Shocked, Noah asks why she showed up in the village when she hates the countryside. Reza then says that she moved because she was told by the god of shadows to serve under the ally of her soul. After this, Sarah reveals that she found Reza and Theta lost on their way to the village and gave them a ride since she thought they could be of help to Noah. While she exchanges pleasantries with Noah, he figures she ferried in his new set of problems. Sarah then tells Noah that he's mean for calling her an acquaintance when they're a married couple sworn to each other. Hearing this, Sarah freaks out while Sebastian couldn't believe the most powerful noble, the strongest knight, and a magic instructor could visit the territory. Shortly after, Lista hypes Noah up as usual for bringing talented-looking people using his connections. However, Noah tells them all to return to whichever hole they crawled out of, since the territory isn't a place for celebrities. However, Theta refuses, saying they want to be helpful to him. In support, Reza says they can't leave until they make the likes of Noah their kin. Rory then asks Noah what he plans to do about his situation, and he suddenly announces that there'll be a duel. When Lista asks him what the duel is about, Noah explains that their guests intend to stay no matter what, and says that he's changing his ideas and trying to use them as a tool to show off his incompetence. While Rory points out that he never learns, Noah explains that he plans to lose the duel quickly to discredit himself before the villagers. However, Rory asks if the ladies have what it takes to beat him, and Noah says that it might be hard, but he has thought up some rules. Shortly after, the villagers spread the news about the duel and chatted about their hero going up against two opponents. When more of the villagers turn up, Rory wonders if they have nothing better to do with their time. Suddenly, Sarah announces that she'll be the judge and explains the rules of the duel. She then explains that each of the contestants is to go into Hell's forest and bring back a hunted monster before the time limit. After this, she adds that whoever brings back the strongest monster wins. So the start of the duel was announced, and the ladies hurried into the forest. Meanwhile, Noah chats with Rory, asking why she's in her cat form. When Rory says it's annoying being around many people, Lista decides to make herself useful and grabs a mic to give a commentary on the duel while Noah wonders who put her up to it. A few moments later, Lista announces that Theta is moving the fastest. She then suddenly encounters a giant serpent and decides to do her best despite being unsure why they're dueling in the first place. So she attacks the giant serpent while Lista announces that she has destroyed the monster alongside the forest. On hearing this, Riza figures she can't be left behind, so he locates a giant serpent too and casts a shadow magic which blows up the beast in seconds. Amazed, the villagers cheer while Lista announces that a barrier has been put up to protect them. Seeing the explosion of Riza's attack, Noah decides to get on with his hunt, and Lista announces that he's finally on the move. While she hypes him up, Noah wonders how she got a mic in the first place. Since he couldn't pull off his plans while being watched, Noah gets out of everyone's sight. After Rory announces his disappearance, Rory asks Noah what he plans to do next. In response, Noah says he'll simply have to go for the small fries and suggests they look out for slimes. Just when Rory asks if they can find any in Hell's forest, Noah spots one nearby and picks it up. On examining it, Noah comments on how weak it looks, while Rory says it looks weird since it's gold. However, Noah dismisses this, saying slimes had different colors back when he was a hunter. After this, Rory asks what they'll do next, and Noah reveals that he has defeated the slime using an instant death magic to avoid damaging the slime's body. Surprised, Rory asks if he just pulled off a great shadow magic effortlessly, but Noah says it's a required magic in his previous world. So, Rory points out that no one in the present world can use it. After this, Noah says that he'll take a nap since no one could see them, so he lies down and sleeps off to Rory's surprise. Some hours later, Noah returns to the village, and on spotting him, Lista announces his return while the people chant his name. When Lista tells him she was worried sick, Noah apologizes and says he lost track of time while fighting monsters. While Rory dreads the shame of what comes next, Noah asks about his opponents and then spots them nearby with their hunted monsters. While Theta reveals she got 15 ancient dragons, Riza says she got 5. Sarah then asks Noah to show them the monster he defeated, so he reaches into his cloak and pulls out the slime. Shocked, everyone gathers to see and wonder if it's a joke. While Noah feels accomplished as a horrible lord, the people comment on how long it took Noah to hunt a slime. However, Sarah suddenly points out that the slime is the Slime King, known as the King of Gluttony. On taking another look, the people realize it's the legendary Slime King, while Reeza points out that the slime is a king of monsters capable of swallowing 5 ancient dragons. Suddenly, Sarah jumps on Noah and announces him as the winner. Meanwhile, Noah wonders why nothing seems to work according to his plans. So Lister announces that although Theta and Reeza are strong, Noah should rule the territory. Suddenly, the villagers begin to sing Noah's praises again, leaving him disappointed. One day at the mansion in Carter's territory, Rory figures things have gotten lively around Noah and flashes back to the first time she met him in the archives. The archives is a structure hidden in another dimension that can only be accessed by those acknowledged by the goddess. So Rory had lived there as the white dragon protecting it for as long as she could remember. However, one day, Noah entered the archives and marveled at seeing the library. When he spotted Rory, he pointed out that she's a pretty big dragon. Surprised, Rory wonders how a youngster like him got into the archives. So she asked him who he was, but since Noah refused to speak, she figured he wasn't blessed by the goddess and decided to exterminate the intruder. Just then, she tried to obliterate him with her dragon breath, but when the raging flames quenched, Rory stood proud as one of the 7 demons created by the goddess, expecting to find a human barbecue. However, to her surprise, Noah looks disappointed and says she got dust in his mouth. Surprised, Rory wonders how Noah took the hit and walked out of it like nothing happened. When Rory pointed out that her magic is like a magical creation and destruction at the same time, he replicates her kind of magic and states that it's boring. On seeing this, Rory asks Noah what he is, and Noah states that it's polite to introduce oneself before asking for his name. So Rory asks if he's scared of her, but Noah says he has no reason to, since she just figured out how her magic works. Before she became the guard of the archives, Rory lived as a god, and the humans feared her. However, since Noah doesn't seem moved by her, she introduced herself as the demon who protects the archives. So Noah introduces himself as the 7th prince. When Rory asks how he got into the archives, Noah explains that he found a rip in spacetime and pulled it apart forcefully to get him there. Suddenly, Noah notices the rare books in the library and picks one, but Rory tells him to get his dirty hands off the books, and since he was about to ruin the meaning of her existence, Rory approaches him, determined to exterminate him. So she casts a spell that gathers materials from the surroundings and imprisons Noah with them. Noah then warns her to be careful not to scratch the precious books. However, Rory tells him the books are protected by magic and suggests he worry about himself. Hearing this, Noah says he can try a little, so he breaks out of Rory's little cage, surprising her as he summons fireballs out of nowhere. Just then, Noah attacks Rory, who then evades the attacks. When the books get hit, the protection magic cracks, so Noah figures he doesn't have to go all out. Facing Rory, Noah suggests they finish what they started and casts a magic circle on her face. He then apologizes while saying he doesn't care what Rory is made of. After this, Noah surrounds Rory with multiple magic circles, and she drops to the floor in a human form. Annoyed, Rory asks Noah what he did to put her in such a small body. In response, Noah says he sealed off her power, shocking Rory as she wonders how a young boy like him could do that to her. When she asks what he is, Noah says he has told her before and reintroduces himself as the 7th prince. Sometime later, Noah shows up in the archives again, surprising Rory, who then says mortals usually can't enter the archives. Noah then explains that he could teleport to places he's been before. Shocked, Rory says that teleportation magic is a higher rank of magic. Some moments later, while he reads a manga, Noah comments that the manga is interesting, so Rory reveals that the archives contain books from all-time dimensions. Rory had been worried that Noah broke into the archives to read prohibited books, but figures she's wrong about him. Just then, Noah asks her for manga recommendations, and Rory takes some out and stacks them. Noah then says he'll borrow them and bids her farewell as he walks into a portal. Hearing that he'll return again, Rory gets excited. The next time Noah visits the archives, Rory gets mad since he got filth on the manga, so she scolds him for eating while reading. Noah then apologizes and cleans up the manga using magic. Later, while they read together, Noah points out that the manga is emotional, while Rory says she likes it too and recommends another to him. Just then, an argument ensues about the best manga, and Rory tells Noah that he's got a horrible taste in manga. After the debate on whose manga selection is the best, Noah announces that it's time to head back home. Just then, Rory goes silent, and Noah asks if something is wrong. Rory then asks if he can stay longer with her, but Noah says that his sister will nag if he stays out too long. Just then, Noah asks Rory if she'd like to go outside the archives, but she refuses, saying she's the protector of the archives. Afterward, Noah explains that there's no magic sealing her into the archives and states that there is no meaning to protecting the place alone. However, Rory reveals she's scared of the world outside the archives. She then narrates that she was born in the outside world and was admired by humans. Not long after this, the admiration turned into hatred, and when she tried to run, she was assigned as the protector of the archive. Since then, Rory had thought she would never return to avoid people's rejection. When Noah keeps asking, Rory gets annoyed and tells him not to get cocky since he's a human. When she reveals that she is the strongest demon created by the goddess, Rory states that Noah can't understand her. She then says that she hates him and tells him never to return to the archives. Although she didn't mean her words, Noah takes his leave to her surprise. Afterwards, Rory wonders why she is so worked up, and since then, no one has visited the archives. One day, Rory senses a presence in the archives. Thinking it's Noah, she hurries to check it out, hoping to apologize for the last time. However, she realizes it's not Noah and spots a hooded octopus guy exploring the archive. She then asks him who he is and how he got in. Just then, the dude identifies her as the Guardian and calls her an idiot for failing to realize that the barrier on land was weakening. Just then, Rory remembers that her powers were sealed by Noah. The octopus guy then asks if she thinks her milk cannons are enough to protect the archives. So Rory tells him to get away from the books, but the guy calls her an incompetent guardian. Suddenly, Rory gets tangled in his tentacles and gets suspended in the air. Afterwards, the octopus guy tells her to watch him obtain knowledge of everything in the world. At the moment, Rory regrets losing her powers and freaks out when the intruder picks up one of her favorite mangas. He then comments that manga is nothing but junk meant for brats and idiots. When he asks for grimoires that could help him annihilate countries, Rory defends her manga and tears up while she explains that the manga healed her and helped her connect with a special person. After this, she tries to make the intruder apologize, but the intruder gets furious and decides to take her out. Suddenly, he tightened his tentacles around her and was about to explore her dungeons when she called out to Noah for help. Suddenly, a portal opens up, and the intruder takes a hit of Noah's magic. Surprised, the intruder asks Noah how he got in, and he explains that he used teleportation magic. Just when the octopus guy says he's never heard of it, Noah annihilates him and catches Rory in his arms. He then asks if she's okay, and Rory asks if he came to help, but Noah says he showed up because he was interested in the rest of the manga. While he speaks, he notices Rory staring weirdly, so he asks if something is wrong. Immediately, Rory buries his head in her Grand Canyon and says she thought he would never return. Noah says that there's no way he would do that and explains that he was away because he's going on a trip with his family. After Noah reveals that he'd rather read manga with her than go on the trip, he calls her attention and shows her a ribbon he got for her. He puts it on her while Rory marvels at the sight of the gift. So Noah thanks her for protecting the manga, and Rory hugs him. When she finally agrees to go outside with him, Noah says that he'll put up a barrier to keep intruders out and notify them if anyone gets in. Afterwards, Noah asks her to recommend a bunch of good manga and offers to tell her something fun in return. Since then, Rory became Noah's apprentice. Back in Carter territory, Lister informs Noah that they found a vein, annoying Noah, who then freaks out and says he didn't do anything. So Lister explains that when he attacked the volcano tortoise, he must have shot a blood bear's nest. As a result of Noah's attack on the volcano tortoise, a shot of Noah's fireball exposes a big vein of mithril ore, which no one could access. On hearing this, Rory points out that mithril is a rare mineral that could make the territory rich if sold. Suddenly, Sebastian shows up and says he heard what was going on, and then reveals that many immigrants have joined the town in recent times, draining the town's funds. Surprised, Noah asks why more people are trying to join the territory, and Sebastian reveals that more people came because they believe in him. When he adds that Lista is the recruiter, Noah exclaims, unsurprised. Afterwards, Sebastian chips in that since everyone wants to live in their territory, finding the vein is their solution. When Noah tries to complain, Sebastian points out that the mithril vein discovery is not his achievement, since it was found by the residents of the territory. On hearing this, Noah hugs Sebastian for being the only one who doesn't believe in him. Afterwards, Noah suggests they keep the ore vein discovery a secret. When Rory asks why, Noah explains that Sarah is the daughter of the Minister of Commerce and can increase his worth, but that will be bad for his incompetence charade. Rory then tells him to call the most untrustworthy merchant in the territory. A few days later, a carriage arrives at the mansion, and when Noah learns he's got a guest, he heads out to meet him, hoping they get scammed by the merchant. When he thinks of how his reputation will plummet after pulling this off, Rory comments that she wonders if such a corrupted merchant exists. Noah then says that the merchant won't have a bad reputation if they are not corrupt. Shortly after, Sebastian arrives and announces that he has brought the requested merchant and warns Noah to be careful since the person has a shocking appearance. When Noah asks what he means by this, the merchant raises his hood and introduces himself as Sabrina. While everyone gets shocked on realizing he is a goblin, Sebastian explains that Sabrina is what Noah ordered. Curious, Rory asks why a monster is a merchant, but since it just doesn't look right, Noah says it's good and hires Sabrina, to everyone's surprise. Just then, Noah grabbed Sabrina's hands and begged him to get along with him. While he goes on and on about how Sabrina's name sounds evil enough for the task, Rory reminds him that he's flirting with a goblin. However, Noah reminds her that she's not very different, being a monster also. He then adds that appearances don't matter as long as the merchant is truly corrupt. Hearing this, the goblin tears up, surprising Noah, who then asks if something is wrong. Afterwards, Sabrina explains that it's the first time anyone has said such nice words to him since he became a goblin. Hearing this, Noah comments that it must have been hard for him, so Sabrina promises to do his best for a kind soul like Noah. When Noah reveals that he's got high expectations for Sabrina, he takes out a crucifix necklace and presents it to Sabrina as a token of their friendship. When Sabrina thanks him for this, Rory asks Noah about the item he presented to Sabrina, and he explains that it's a simple exorcism item. After this, he adds that he doesn't want his plans to fail if anything happens to Sabrina. However, Rory realizes Noah just gave out a holy relic. Later, Noah freaks out when he sees the amount of gold they made from selling the ore, and Sebastian explains that their trade was successful. Surprised, Noah demands to see Sabrina, and Sebastian reveals that he has been standing there all along. Shocked, Noah freaks out, while Sabrina, who looks different, introduces himself. When Noah points out that he looks different, Sabrina explains that his curse got reversed the moment he put on the necklace Noah gave him, and thanks Noah for this. Surprised, Noah asks if he was really cursed, and Sabrina narrates that he once got cornered and cursed to be a goblin by corrupt merchants. Since no one wanted to trade with him, Sabrina says that Noah is amazing for choosing to trade with him and breaking his curse in the process. Now that he's back to his normal self, Sabrina says he will continue to work with the territory from that moment on. Just then, Noah asks Sebastian if he knew about Sabrina's story, but Sebastian explains that he once heard about a missing merchant. So Noah asks Sebastian why he chose someone like that, and freaks out on realizing he just committed another blunder. Just then, Lista shows up on the scene and hypes Noah up as usual. She then gathers the villagers and instructs them to spread the word, and adds that they must follow Noah's lead by showing acts of kindness. Meanwhile, Noah freaks out, saying he doesn't want the territory anymore. Deep in the Forest of Death, in a demon lord's domain, a demon reports Noah's achievements to the demon lord and asks if they should deal with him. Without responding, Mao, the demon lord, levitates from her throne. Sometime later in Noah's mansion, Rory strolls down a corridor and wonders why a light is on late at night. She then checks out the room and hears some people asking if Noah has gone to bed. On sneaking into the room, Rory realizes it's a meeting where Noah's fanatics brainstorm on how to support him. Unaware of Rory's presence, Theta asks the ladies what Noah is up to since he locked himself up in his room for some days. On hearing this, Rory figures Noah has resolved to do nothing since every one of his incompetence moves ends up as an incredible feat. However, Reza calls Theta a fool for assuming she could predict what Noah is thinking. So Theta asks Reza if she can predict what Noah is thinking, and she says she can since they're both shadow magic users. Just then, Sarah says that no one understands Noah's thinking better than her. She then reveals that he's thinking about the future of the territory, making the other ladies exclaim. While Rory thinks she couldn't be more wrong, Lista asks Sarah what she means, and Sarah explains that one of the territory's many problems is its proximity to a demon country. When she guesses that Noah must be planning to deal with the demon lord, the other ladies believe the lie and conclude that it must be true. While they marvel at how kind Noah is, Rory laughs at how wrong they are, since Noah isn't aware of the existence of the demon lord. Theta then asks why Noah is locked up since he is strong enough to take on the demon lord, and Sarah cooks up another lie, saying that Noah does not want to invade the demon country. On hearing this, Lista says she knows why and reveals that the territory will be defenseless if Noah attacks the demon territory alone. When the other ladies agree with her, Sarah states that Noah is in a dilemma, while Theta says that they can't be burdens to him. So she announces that she and the knights will protect the territory while Reza and the mages can protect the villagers. However, a quarrel ensues, and both ladies argue over who gets to help Noah. Shortly after, Sarah points out that Noah must be waiting to keep the villagers from worrying, so she suggests they figure out what Noah is thinking and get strong. When Rory wonders why she's surrounded by idiots, the ladies marvel at Noah's foresight and vow to do their best to help him. On realizing the ladies have gone crazy, Rory sneaks out to inform Noah, and on getting to his door, she knocks, telling him to do something before his citizens finally lose it. However, Noah says he's in a full shutdown mode and tells her to stay away since he doesn't care what happens next. A few days later, Noah freaks out and wonders why the demon lord is begging and crying before him. A few hours before this, in the demon lord's domain, a demon reports to Mau that Theta and Reza are serving under Noah and reveals that they have made tons of money from the mithril ore they discovered. In addition to this, the demon reveals that the last spies they sent to Noah's territory were caught and tortured badly enough to render them useless. When the demons say that Noah definitely plans to exterminate their kingdom, Mau tears up and freaks out while asking what to do. In response, the demon tells her to be calm, but Mau states that she didn't sign up for that crap. Just then, the demon reminds her that her father left the throne to her and tells her to pull herself together. When she realizes she's truly on her own, Mau points out that no one listens to what she says, since she's a mix of demons and humans. Since her father passed away and left the throne to her, the demons ridiculed and ignored her commands. So while Mau wonders if things would have been different if she were a full breed, her subordinate consoles her and says that if they could find a few loyalists, their children might follow her. After Mau points out that there are none, she asks what would happen if she challenged Noah, and the demon reveals that she will definitely lose her head at the flick of his finger. On hearing this, Mau freaks out and says that she doesn't want to die. However, since doing nothing puts the demons at risk, Mau decides to sacrifice herself for the demons. In the present, Noah screams, asking why his staff let a cosplay girl into his room. Just then, Mau begs Noah to stop preparing his attack on the demon kingdom. When she begs him to spare innocent demons from fighting, Noah wonders what she's talking about. So he asks why she didn't choose a better place to show her acting skills, and Mau says that he's probably playing dumb to keep his plans secret. In addition to this, she says that it's not a surprise that humans have a grudge against demons since they never get along. When Mau offers her life to Noah and tells him to do whatever he wants with her, she begs him to spare the innocent demons. After a brief moment of silence, Noah says he feels bad for her since he's clueless about what she's talking about. So when Mau says that all she wants is peace, Noah reaches out and pets her head while saying he wants the same. When he adds that he doesn't need her life, Mau suddenly lights up. So Noah says he forgives her since they both believe in peace and promises to protect the peace of the demons. Surprised, Mau asks if he'll really mean what he said, while Rory scolds Noah for going too far with his promise. Mau then tears up and comments on Noah's kindness. However, when Noah realizes what he has done, Lista barges in and commends Noah for taking the demons into his protection. Noah then freaks out while Rory chips in that Mao must be the real demon lord. While Mao thanks Noah, her subordinate suddenly barges in, shocking Noah, who then asks what he wants. The demon then informs Mao that word has spread in demon territory that she surrendered to the humans and adds that the demons have planned to recapture her. When he announces that the demons are invading Noah's territory, Mao freaks out. Suddenly, Noah's mansion gets attacked, and he casts a magic circle to defend himself and the others in the room. He then tells the demons to stop barging into his home uninvited, but the attacking demon floats with his wings and introduces himself as Ottersider. When Mao asks Ottersider why he showed up, Noah asks her if she knows him. So Mao explains that he is part of an extremist faction different from hers. When she states that Ottersider belongs to a special grade of demons, Noah asks Ottersider to state his business, but Ottersider says he came to take back the Demon King, who was kidnapped. When he demands that Mao be returned, Noah says she wasn't kidnapped and accuses him of telling lies. Surprised, Ottersider wonders how Noah could read his mind. Curious, Lista asks Noah if it's true, and he says it's obvious from the atmosphere. After this, Noah says that he's busy and asks Ottersider what he really wants. Seeing that he has been found out, Ottersider demands that Noah hand over the territory to the demons, surprising Mao, who then asks what he is talking about. Ottersider then reveals that it's the demons' true aim since the protective barrier broke. When he explains that their intention is to expand into the human realm, Mao says that many demons' lives will be lost to complete his goals. However, Ottersider shuts Mao up and states that they don't need permission from a weakling like her. Just then, Noah points out that the situation in the demon realm must be complicated, so he asks Ottersider if he wants to trade with the humans. In response, Ottersider says that he will allow it on the condition that 10,000 high-grade demons will be placed at every village in the territory. While Rory points out that Ottersider intends to take the territory and asks Noah for his decision, Noah accepts the proposition, surprising everyone. When Rory asks if he's in his right senses, Noah says that the demons can run the territory if he lets them stay. So he asks what will happen to the current lord, and Rory suddenly guesses what Noah is trying to do. After this, Noah reveals that he can retire and worry about nothing if the demons take over. Rory then asks Noah about his plans for the villagers, and Noah says he will help them escape with transfer magic. Afterwards, Noah asks Ottersider if the land is all they want, and asks what he has in return for the territory. In response, Ottersider states that both sides should win in a trade, but Noah chips in that he won't give his territory to someone unjust. After this, Rory asks Noah about his plans, and he says that he's negotiating with the demon. When she reminds him that they are bringing 10,000 demons into his territory, Noah says that the number is excessive. However, he tells Rory to quit panicking since Ottersider and Mao have weak mana. Despite this, Rory freaks out at how much Noah misunderstands the situation, which could end up in a full-blown war. Just then, Ottersider asks Noah how he's calm when his residents are being taken hostage. In response, Noah says the residents are not precious in the first place, so the demon takes out a glass orb and says he is being mocked. He then threatens to order his army to annihilate the territory. While the demon dishes out more threats, he contacts one of his subordinates using the globe and asks if they are finished annihilating the humans. In response, the demon reveals that they have lost over 10,000 soldiers. Shocked, Ottersider asks what happened, and the demon reveals that they attacked the village as ordered, but were resisted by the knights, mages, and villagers, who were unreasonably strong. Upon hearing this, Noah's eyes almost fall out as he freaks out in disappointment. Rory then reminds him that the villagers were trained by the knights and mages. Afterwards, Noah reveals that they can't continue the negotiations, so Ottersider accuses Noah of setting up the trap and vows never to forgive him for fooling him. When Ottersider suddenly attacks, Noah evades the attacks and knocks the demon down with a punch. Surprised at the turn of events, Noah freaks out at his accidental heroism. Just when the humans discovered that the demon boss had been defeated, they praised Noah for this while he wondered why his life was a joke. Rory then calls Noah an incredible lord for cooking up a brilliant plan and defeating the demon boss. Meanwhile, Mao figures the extremists have been eliminated and wonders if the demons are free from the conflict. Suddenly, she hugs Noah and pledges allegiance to him on behalf of the demons. In that moment, Noah's worst nightmare shows up behind him and commends him for ending the war with the demons while the people celebrate their victory. Later, Noah laments and begs Rory to help him out, since he is swamped with work. In response, Rory blames him for forming an alliance with the demons and states that all he has to do is stamp papers and approve them, since everything else is handled by Sarah and Lista. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door and Maul peeks into the room, saying she has something to discuss with Noah. So, Noah asks if she intends to put more stress on him, while Rory chips in that he is getting what he deserves. Just then, Mao reveals that the demons are in tough times and tells Noah to do something about the miasma. Confused, Noah asks what that is, and Mao reveals that it's a dark mist surrounding the demons' country. Since it's more poisonous to humans, Mao reveals that with their alliance, she wants humans to be able to visit their country. When she adds that the miasma isn't too healthy for demons either, Rory figures it must be why the demons want some of the humans' lands. Hearing this, Noah wonders why he keeps getting caught up in annoying things, so Rory says it might be karma from his previous life. However, Noah says that he was a hero who defeated lots of villains in his former life. Afterwards, Noah decides to resolve the issue, and Mao suddenly lights up. After she leaves, Rory asks Noah about his real intentions, and he reveals his plan to prove his incompetence. Later in the demon's country, Noah wonders what to do and decides to study the miasma where it's thickest. So Rory asks what he will do next, and Noah announces that he will spread the damage. Surprised, Rory reminds him of his promise to Mao, but Noah says he can't risk appearing competent. After this, Noah decides to spread the miasma to human territory and make it unsuitable for living. When Rory calls him the worst for this, she asks him about the inhabitants, and Noah says he'll let them evacuate properly. After this, Rory says he will render the people homeless, but Noah says he can give them mansions in another territory. Just when he states that his plan is perfect, Rory asks if it won't end up as an epic failure again. So Noah ignores her and enters the center of the demon castle. Due to the miasma, Rory feels sick and asks Noah if he's okay. When he says he's fine, she says he's definitely not human. Shortly after, Noah finds the source of the miasma inside the castle. He then wonders if the castle is blocking its source and building up underneath. When Rory says that nothing can be done about it, Noah then says that he'll just blow up the castle. Worried, Rory asks why, and Noah says that he plans to release the buildup of the miasma. So she advises him against it, but Noah says he's gone too far to back out. Afterward, Rory tells Noah that his attack might damage the entire demon country, but Noah says he wouldn't do something so rash. Suddenly, he levitates and hands Rory a helmet. From the skies, Noah then snaps his fingers and a part of the castle blows up. Surprised, Rory points out that the remains of the castle became dust and asks Noah how he pulled that off. In response, Noah explains that the vibrations from snapping his fingers destroyed the buildings. Suddenly, the miasma starts gushing out, so Noah gets excited and celebrates his first real win. A few days later, Mao shows up in Noah's mansion and announces that the miasma has completely disappeared. Shocked, Noah freaks out while Mao praises him. When Noah asks what she means, Mao reveals that the destroyed castle was the source of the miasma and states that there's no more miasma in the demon's country. She then hugs Noah to thank him for not causing any casualties. After this, Mao says she knows that Noah destroyed the castle as a declaration of his intention to lead the demons. While Noah freaks out, Rory points out that Mo has become a fanatic too. Later, Noah weeps, wondering why everything he does ends up in the opposite direction. Rory then says it's probably the soul of the damned cursing him and suggests he get an exorcism done soon. Sometime later, while Noah hangs out with Rory in a forest, they hear some loud sounds nearby and Noah complains about it. Just when Rory asks where the noise is coming from, Noah says that he thought they were alone and heads off to check it out. Just then, he spots a girl slashing through the woods with a wooden sword. Since it's rare to see young people far away from the village, Noah calls out to her and asks what she's doing. Startled, the girl attacks Noah with her sword, but he stops it effortlessly, making the girl wonder how he snuck up on her. Afterwards, she apologizes and asks Noah if he's hurt anywhere. He then says that it's nothing major and asks what she's up to. In response, the girl introduces herself as Uriel and says that she's on a journey to train herself. When she reveals that she doesn't have a destination in particular, Noah says he didn't expect to find anyone there. Just when Rory asks Noah if he's scheming something, Noah calls Uriel and suggests that he give her guidance. Hearing this, Rory exclaims and tries to dissuade Noah from pulling any more incompetent moves. However, Noah tells her that he doesn't care what happens next. So Rory asks what trick he's about to pull next, and Noah says he's about to show Uriel how unadult-like he is. In addition, he reveals that he plans to crush her so badly that she'll never touch a sword again. Just then, Uriel asks Noah if he'll be sparring without weapons. Noah picks up a stick and says it'll be enough for someone like her. Judging from Noah's confidence and movement earlier, Uriel figures he's not an ordinary guy, so she charges at him with her full might. Seeing this, Rory says she's fast, but Noah disagrees. Suddenly, Uriel attacks Noah, but he evades her attacks and asks if that's all she's got. When he points out that she's too weak, Rory thinks the girl is already strong enough. Meanwhile, Uriel says she didn't think Noah was so skilled, so Noah tells her to show him the fruits of her training. Suddenly, Uriel uses a special attack against Noah, but he blocks it and shocks her with some counter moves. At this point, Uriel realizes she's up against an armed man. Just then, Noah laughs and asks if that's all she could do despite her training, so Uriel puts in more effort and charges towards Noah again. While she thinks Noah is amazing at swordplay, Noah comments that her long training was useless and suggests she get back to her mommy's lap. At this point, Uriel says she has to use her trump card, surprising Noah to find out she was holding back. Uriel then says the attack shouldn't be used on an ordinary person, and Noah tells her to bring it on. When Uriel prepares to attack, she tells Noah that he could die if he takes the hit head-on, but Noah insists he must. Just when Uriel's secret technique almost activates, Noah attacks her and knocks her down, nullifying the attack before it activates. Afterwards, Noah asks if she plans to use such a slow attack in the battlefield where there are no rules. While Uriel struggles to get back up, Rory blames Noah for making her cry. However, when Noah thinks she'll be disappointed in him, Uriel gets up and tells Noah that he was amazing. When she compliments his amazing swordsmanship, Noah asks why she isn't depressed. Uriel then says that it's unfortunate that her sword didn't touch him once and reveals that she's fallen in love with his swordsmanship. After this, she begs Noah to make her his disciple. The next day, Mau shows up, screaming Noah's name and asking why Uriel is in the mansion. After this, she explains that Uriel is a hero and her mortal enemy. Hearing this, Noah wonders how a hero could be that weak. However, Rory says it's because he is too strong. Suddenly, Mau grabs Noah and begs him to help her while Uriel points out that it's amazing that Noah could make a demon lord his subordinate. Just then, Noah says he can't deny that and asks if she plans to end Mau. However, Uriel says she'd never do that to Noah's subordinate. She then reveals that she heard about the peace pact between demons and humans. Hearing this, Mau says that her biggest fear just vanished. Meanwhile, Noah says that it's strange since he expected Uriel to hate him. Just then, Mau hugs him and says he's the best for surpassing both the demon lord and hero. Sometime later at the royal castle, Uriel kneels before the king, who then asks her if Noah really defeated the demon king. In response, Uriel reveals that Noah took the demon lord as a subordinate and ensured her protection. When she told the king about the peace pact between the humans and the demons, Uriel revealed that she intends to give up her title as a hero. However, the king forbids her from doing this, and when Uriel says that the demons are no longer a threat to mankind, she adds that a hero is not needed. The king then gets furious since they were receiving support from the other nations and wonders how they'll live without it. You then wonder how his incompetent prince managed to turn the demon lord into his subordinate. So the king asks Uriel how she can believe what the demon lord says and hearts that they don't know when they are going to be betrayed. After this, the king commands Uriel to finish off the demon lord and bring him her head. So the people standing by agree with the king and chant for Uriel to end the demon lord for good. However, Uriel states that she and the demon lord have become allies, and she would never betray an ally. While the king gets shocked by this, Dagwar applauds Uriel and comments on how cool she looks. After this, he requests that the king make him the hero instead. Dagwa then promises not to stop until he has defeated the demon lord. So Uriel says if he wants to finish off the demon lord, she won't stop him. However, she adds that Noah will not overlook his actions. In response, Jaguar insinuates that Uriel must be making excuses because she's scared of the demon lord. While the bystander murmurs in agreement with Dagwa, Dagwa draws his sword and announces that he'll take her place as the hero. Just then, Uriel tells him to move and announces that she will train under Noah and become his student. When Uriel leaves, Dagwa requests that his father make him the hero, so the king announces that he will give him a mission. After this, the king commands Dagwa to bring Noah back, shocking Dagwa, who then asks why he should. When Noah tries to make his father change his mind, the king tells him to hurry or he'll be banished from the royal family as well. Suddenly, Dagwa drops his sword and takes a knee before the king while vowing never to forgive Noah. Meanwhile, in Noah's mansion, Noah calls Rory and says that the work never ends. To ease stress, he asks her to allow him to squish her paws, but she refuses, claiming she's a woman. However, when Noah offers to give her some sardines, she turns to her cat form and Noah plays with her. Would you return to the royal castle with Dagwa if you were Noah? Let's know what you think in the comments. And if you like more videos like this, like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.